Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about structure or shapes versus gesture and cleanness, readability versus texture. People on digital painting have this discussion and it's a really cool thing to think of. When we, for example, animate pixel art, some people make something like very static movement. So if I have this ball, for example, moving around, this would be distorted, right? But some people do not distort this because whenever they move, things get distorted and lose their structure, mainly because of the gesture. If you have, for example, anything, any subject, static, so like actually not doing anything, and you have the same character, the same subject, if we have this subject doing any other thing, like a gesture, a posing, they would lose a lot of structure. This arm, for example, is overlapping this, and we are losing the shoulder. This torso is actually twisted, so the abs could be hidden. We would see way more of the lower back of this character. We wouldn't see the hands in here, and we actually might see a bigger elbow in here. This leg actually would need to be bigger because it is in front, and this actually would need to be smaller. So this would be bended, this would be extended. So whenever we are making something, either moving, posing, anticipating an action, or even doing the action itself, we lose their correctness of structure. For example, when we animate certain things, actually we make them is mirroring all the way. So actually this word that would look something like this became this bizarre thing. And why we do this? Because the gesture of attack in this way make the structure of this subject not make sense. If I attack something that is like something like this and then like this and then comes like this is way less believable than something like this. Because things get distorted by our perspective when they move. So not being that much rigid about the structure give us the possibility of having way more natural gestures, poses. You need to have in mind that gesture and structure are in scale. If you want to have more of a certain thing, the other one would be sacrificed, and vice versa. The other thing works with the same philosophy is the readability, cleanness, and details texture. If you have anything like this, a small line, if you want to add details in it, so for example, you might want to imply that there are things inside of this slime. Do you agree that now that this little guy have a lot of things inside of it, a lot of details, do you agree that now it is kind of hard because the eye kind of bites for attention with the bow and arrow? It's because these are just things that are intrinsic. When you have any part with a lot of texture, things further away usually have less texture and way less detail when we get out of this detailed part, because usually when you have a lot of details, not exactly details, but contrast with, for example, colors, shapes, perspective, distortion, anything like this, we have a focal point, and further away we are from this focal point, we have less and less detail. You are totally able to have more than one focal point. So actually, two part of this piece, this pixel art, have different focal points. But if I have, for example, this focal point and this and this and this and this, so now everything is important. So actually nothing is important anymore because they compete for attention, and our eyes does not have an area to rest. There is no transition. There is no place to let them rest. So this conflict usually is because we have more details that, as I said, might use shape, color, like valleys, lights, perspective, distortion, anything like this. And we do not have rest areas that does not have that much. We have softer gradients. We does not have chaos. This lack of details makes our eye compete for every single part of it. So what is recommended? So actually, in the opposite of a structure and gesture that if you want one part, automatically the other one would be affected. This one, you actually need to think of balance yourself. You need to say what is important in this pixel art, in this art piece, and the rest of it, as I said, even though you have more than one important part, but you need less important part, so our view is actually balanced and the focal points actually are seen and highlighted from the rest. Alright, so thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.